Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So inshallah, in this lesson we'll be going on to discuss Now let's have a look at this, analyze this inshallah. So let's have a quick recap. So what did we say? We say now we're in the second unit, and in this unit we're doing istidlal. What are we discussing? Istidlal, how to derive rulings from the Quran and the Sunnah and the dala'il, plural adilla, mentioned in unit 1. Yes, that was the topic of discussion in this unit. Then we said here, there are two ways of discussing, two ways of deducing, two ways of analyzing the dala'il. Method number one is istidlal lafziyun. What does istidlal lafzi mean? Istidlal lafzi means that we use the word, the language, and using the language, we come to what? We come to certain conclusions, certain derivations. And the opposite of that is istidlal ghayr lafzi, also called istidlal ma'nawi, where we are deriving, we're not necessarily using the words, but what are we using instead? We are using the concepts and the ideas to derive particular rulings. Yes? Then we said in lafzi, we can analyze the word individually, or we can analyze the word, the sentence, or the structure collectively. So you have a word analysis, the kalima, we analyze each word individually regarding its meaning, its clarity, its usage, and then we can analyze the text as a whole. So far, so good? When we look at the word, we look at its clarity, we can study its clarity. Is the word clear or is it not clear? Or we can study its isti'mal, its usage. How is the word being used? Everybody with me? Yes, is that clear to everybody? So when we have the word analysis, we are looking at from two aspects: the clarity of the word or the usage of the word. How is the word being used? I will go through each one of these inshallah. Okay. In terms of clarity, possibility number one is that we say that this word is a clear word, meaning the meaning is known in Arabic. The meaning is known to the Arabic language, to the speakers of the Arabic language. Not to me and you, our vocabulary is very poor. But normally, when it's revealed to the Quraysh, the Arabs at that time, they understood what it meant very clearly. And its usage, etc., is very clear. And the opposite of that is غير واضح, unclear words. And in the واضح, we said, well, if the word is واضح, it is clear, it is known, there's two possibilities. Possibility number one, it refers to one particular thing, one particular name, one particular month, one particular number, one particular group as a whole. That's called khas. And the opposite of khas was am. And that's where we are right now. It refers to a collective group of whole things. So we know the word. So for example, we can have the word here, rajulun. We know what the rajulun means, so it's khas, but it only refers to one person. And we can have that here, plural, rijalun. The plural now is going to be am. It refers to many afrad. Yes, many members. And in khas, we said there were two types of khas. One is a khas word, which is unrestricted. It has no adjective, no description, no na'at, no mudaf ilay. Simply that simple one word. Qalamun, abdun, raqabatun, sawmun. It's not restricted in any ways. Again, it's a very simple overview. There's a lot more detail, but for now it gives you an introduction to some of the key terms. And the opposite of mutlaq was muqayyad, when that khas word, even though we know the meaning, is restricted. For example, rajulun salihun, and that's muqayyad, is restricted and is limited. And now we're moving on to am. Yes? So far, so good? Is it clear to everybody? Yes? Okay. G. Now moving on, we have the am. So what do we say? Am is a word. We know the meaning of the word. And when you use that word, it has multiple members. For example, Muslimun. So when you say, for example, Innal Muslimina wal Muslimat, so now we know Muslimun refers to many, it has multiple members, and Mu'minat has multiple members. Understood? Right. Man ya'mal salihan, man ya'mal salihan. So man ya'mal, whosoever does. So now here, if you look at this word is plural. So this, you can say here, this word is am by sigha. The sigha tells us it's am because it's plural. And this word is sigha by ma'na, because the word man, whoever. So that meaning is am. But you don't have to get too technical, just like idea. So sometimes the word itself, sometimes the meaning of the word denotes an am meaning. Man ya'mal, whosoever does good, whosoever does any action. So when you say man ya'mal, we know it's not talking about one particular member, it's talking about a shart, it refers to whosoever does good deeds. Muslimun, not one referring to one Muslim, but the entire group of Muslims. So far, so good? Yeah? Okay. Takhsis. Now, Because we said am refers to an entire category of people. However, sometimes we may have the am word, but we're not referring to the entire am. We have specified خصص يخصص تخصيصا, to specify, to specify is the best translation, to specify a few members or to exempt a few members. So sometimes you have an am word. Now we've not mentioned it here, I'll probably add it in later on. The am is okay with that later on. So we have an am, but some of the members of this am may be excluded from the general ruling. Like I said, it's called takhsis. So when you have an am, so let's say for example you have an am. So we have the word Muslimun, and the word Muslimun encompasses every member of the group of Muslims, yes? However, if you were to say, well, no, we're going to exempt a few. So when you cut a piece off, say, no, these are not included. What's this action called that we've done? This is called takhsis. We have removed a few members of the group. It's called takhsis. For example, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. For Allah, upon the people, there's the Hajj is the pilgrimage of the house. What does this mean? The performing Hajj of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is incumbent upon all people. So if you look at the word anas, you've done in balagha already. This alif lam is for istighraq. We've done that, alif lam istighraq, alif lam ahad. We've done it in balagha before? Yes? This is for istighraq, to include all members. Yes? So now initially, until here, this am is an am. The Hajj is compulsory upon all the people. The word nas has a known meaning. We know that nas refers to human beings, correct? And you have Hajjul Bayt is what. So the Hajj of Allah, the Bayt of Allah, is compulsory upon all people. Now, in the next verse, it has a badal. This man istata'a ilayhi sabila. This is the badal ba'ath. This is the badal ba'ath of this verse. So this is now what? We've now done takhsis. We have an am word, and now we have restricted and removed some members from this am. This act is called takhsis. Understood? Okay. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. The word kullu means every. So kullu nafsin, we know what the word nafs means. Every living being is called a nafs. Correct? Now the word nafs, kullu nafsin, this is am. What is this? Kullu nafs, this is am. Kullu nafsin, this is am. Is it takhsis of this? Dha'iqatul maut, will taste death. Every soul is going to taste death. There's no takhsis from this. So now, what we're saying here is, there are certain am which we call what? We say am, we have an am. Sometimes the am becomes what? Makhsus. What does makhsus mean? That from which a khas has been exempted, makhsus. So you have am makhsus. That am which is no longer am totally. It still refers to many members, but not all of the members. Some members have been exempt. So for example, if this is anas, this is the word anas, this is an am word. However, Allah says, man istata'a ilayhi sabila. So this is takhsis has taken place. And these people, those who don't have the ability, Hajj is not compulsory upon them. You following? Yes, Hajj is not compulsory upon them. So now this is an am makhsus. This is am makhsus. Why? Because some members of Nas have been exempted from the ruling of Hajj. Those who do not have the ability to go there. And in this example, kullu nafsin is also am. But this has no exemption to this. Every single soul shall taste death. So this is known as am ghayr makhsus. The am from which nothing has been removed, nothing has been exempted. This is called am ghayr makhsus. Fahim? Yes? Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions from anyone? Okay. So now we have here istidlal lafzi. So again, recap, we have istidlal lafzi, we have kalima, we have kalam. And in kalima, we can analyze the ma'na, which is the meaning of the word, or we can analyze the isti'mal of the word. If you analyze the ma'na of the word, you have wadih and we have ghayr wadih. Yes? And then after that, in wadih, we can have a khas or we can have an am. The khas can be mutlaq, unrestricted, there's no restriction, no limitation, no additional criteria. And then we can have a muqayyad. And a muqayyad means it is restricted with a not or a mudaf ilay, some kind of criteria, not leaving it general. And then we have an am, which refers to a word with a known meaning, and it has multiple members. And these multiple members, when you have the am, it either remains and it still applies to all members. That's called am ghayr makhsus. Nothing has been removed from the am. The am is still there. And then we have here am makhsus, which means what? The am from which certain members have been excluded. Okay. Now, one thing I forgot to put onto the slide, I'll add it in the notebook inshallah later on, is that when we have an am, so we said here that the khas is qat'iyyu dalala, correct? Now when you have a word and has a known meaning, then that known meaning is intended without any, like there's no doubt in that. So for example, we say faghsilu wujuhakum. So faghsilu really means if'alu al-ghusla. If'alu al-ghusla. Yes? And then wujuhakum. We know what wajhun means. So even in this verse, we know what the word ghaslun means. That's a khas word. So you have to do like the word if'alu, ighsilu means is a known meaning. It's qat'an. It's qat'iyyu thubut and qat'iyyu dalala. Wajhun is qat'iyyu dalala. Okay? When you have an am, does the am include all members? So how is am? So when we have so we know the meaning of the am. So it's that's so in the am there's two aspects. One is the meaning of the am, and one is the umumiyya, the generality of the am. Generality. So for example, if I said, for example, let's say, for example, it comes in the Quran. Let's say I had the word ar-rijal. Okay? Now, ar-rijal, does that have a known meaning or not? Rijal has a known meaning. In Arab language, that meaning of ar-rajul, when the Quran uses the word ar-rajul, it is known what ar-rajul means. Ar-rijal means is known. So in terms of its meaning, it is qat'i. Yes? It means a male person. Yes? In terms of, when I say ar-rijal, does it automatically include everybody? So when it includes everybody, how is that inclusion? Is that inclusion qat'i or is that inclusion dhanni? So we say that inclusion is qat'i. If there's no context to say that it's makhsus, the am ghayr makhsus is qat'iyyu dalala. The am ghayr makhsus is qat'iyyu dalala. Again, I'm just explaining the Hanafi perspective and the majority opinion. We will learn more details, and you will learn more details in much more complex books. For now, simply, so when an am is ghayr makhsus, we say that it includes everybody qat'an. Simple example, if I say, everyone must come madrasa tomorrow. So now, everyone is am. Does it, so we know everyone, every student, we know the meaning of this. So the meaning is qat'iyyu dalala. But does it include everybody or qat'an, or is there a possibility of takhsis? We said there's no dalil for, so there's possibility, but there's no evidence for this. Unless you have evidence, it will remain qat'iyyu dalala, that everyone must come madrasa tomorrow. Understood? So the way the am includes all its members, that's qat'i. When it becomes makhsus, okay, now when the am becomes makhsus, so now let's do a chart here. So let's say we have here, this is the am, use a black color. We have here an am, yes? And we've exempted some of these. So now what kind of am is this? Makhsus or ghayr makhsus? When we've exempted certain members, what does it become? Am makhsus or ghayr makhsus? It becomes am makhsus. When it is am makhsus, does the word, when the word, so now the word rijal doesn't refer to every single rajul, it refers to the remaining members in the group. Okay? But does the word include all of the members qat'iyyu dalala or dhanniyyu dalala? Qat'an or dhannan? So we say it becomes dhanniyyu dalala. Why? Because usually there's a reason for exemption. So when we said all men, for example, the rule regarding all men, and we said, however, these men are excluded. So when we've excluded one group, one sect, one particular type, the question will be, why have these people been excluded? When they have been excluded, there must be a reason. When there's a reason for this, then we say This reason may also be found in other members. So the way the word encompasses the remaining members is what? قطعي الدلالة, ظني الدلالة. We say ظني الدلالة. Okay, to summarize that again. When we have an arm can be غير مخصوص or مخصوص. So we said that the arm is a واضح word. So the meaning of the word, what it refers to, rijal refers to men, not women. When we say an-nisa, it refers to women, not men. When we say al-muslimun, refers to Muslims and not al-kafir. When we say al-kafiru, refers to disbelievers, not believers. When we say whatever we say, so that word, when the word is known, in that aspect, the meaning of the word is qat'i. That's like khas, it's qat'i. However, the way the arm includes all of its members. If it is arm غير مخصوص, we say every single member is included قطعا. غير is غير مخصوص, so every single member is included. And without equal strength evidence, we cannot remove any member. Yes? And if the arm is مخصوص, then the meaning of the arm is going to be qat'iyyu dalala, but the way that word encompasses or includes the remaining members, this is dhanniyyu dalala. Okay, is that clear? Let me give you one more example to make it a bit more clear. Same example about madrasa. If we said, for example, everyone from Leicester must come into the madrasa to write their exams. Is this an arm or is this a khas? So every student of Al-Qalam must come to madrasa to write the exams. So every student of Al-Qalam, is that wadih or ghayr wadih? Every student of Al-Qalam. Come on, G. Is that wadih or ghayr wadih? Is the meaning known or unknown? Every student of Al-Qalam. We would say this is what? This is wadih. The meaning of this is known. And is this khas or is this am? Is it referred to one member or is it referred to multiple members? Every student of Al-Qalam. It's am. So it's referring to every single student of Al-Qalam. So right now, is this am makhsus or ghayr makhsus as it stands? Is it am makhsus or ghayr makhsus? So therefore, the way the ruling applies is every single member included qat'an or dhannan. Every single person in Leicester. So every single Al-Qalam student who resides in Leicester, they are included without a doubt. Qat'iyyu dalala. This text is very clear. This rule or this statement is very clear. Correct? So now, that includes every single member. No member is excluded. And it includes every member without any doubt. No person should have a doubt that every single student must come on site. Okay? Now one person, he writes an email and that person says, I live very far away. I live about 4 miles. I live on the outskirts of Leicester. It takes me about 20 minutes, this in the car. And if it's traffic, it can take me even a half an hour or 45 to get to madrasa. And I come back from work late. I say, okay, anybody who lives very far is exempt. So now this arm becomes what? What does this arm become? Makhsus or ghayr makhsus? This arm becomes now what? This arm becomes makhsus. Now in scenario 1, when it's ghayr makhsus, if somebody said, oh, I thought I wouldn't have to come, would he get in trouble? Or would he have a case to fight? I said, every single student of Al-Qalam must come on site to write the exams. In that case, when it's ghayr makhsus, if a student said, oh, I thought I didn't have to come, would he have a case to argue, or would he be in trouble? Now, does he have any foundation for his statement, for his thinking that he doesn't have to come on site? He wouldn't, because it's qat'iyyu dalala. I said, every single student, why do you think you're exempt? In the second scenario, when I said, because you live very far, person A is exempt. Now, if person B, he says, I didn't come as well, because I live far as well, so I thought I was exempt as well. Would he have a case to fight? He said, well, yes, because now it's dhanniyyu dalala, because when you made an exception for one person, the person may think, well, the reason that he's exempt because he lives very far away, that rule also applies to me, that illah, that reason, that logic also applies to me. So every single student of Al-Qalam who lives in Leicester, it is an am, correct, it refers to all the members, but because this takhsis, and one member has been exempted from this ruling, there may be a reason, and a illah, and a hikmah, and a wisdom, and a reason, a logic behind of this, and this also applies to me, so therefore I am going to exempt myself. Or maybe the administration, the admin who is giving the decisions. So if I said, for example, the admin to the admin, every single student of Al-Qalam must come to on site. That's a ruling. So the admin will say, no, every student has to come. There's no leeway. When they're given one leeway, and now I travel, I went for Umrah, Allah give me tawfiq. Now I'm not here anymore. The admin doesn't get a chance to ask me. So now when he replies to the email, somebody else asks a question. He may use his rationale and say, well, Maulana gave permission and exempted one person because they came late. Now this ruling is not qat'iyyu dalal anymore. He gave an exemption to one person to come to do exam online because of they're living very far away. In my reason, this person also lives far away, so I am also going to use my discretion and give the person an exemption. Because this arm is no longer qat'iyyu dalala, this arm is now dhanniyyu dalala. So now you can use reason and logic and rationale to say, well, no, it doesn't apply here, it applies here only. Understood? Yes, it makes sense. So we have واضح, khas, mutlaq and muqayyad, واضح, am, غير مخصوص and مخصوص. And the meaning of the khas and the meaning of the am is qat'iyyu dalala. But in terms of the application of the am, the application of the am is qat'iyyu dalala in غير مخصوص according to the Hanafi school of thought, and it is dhanniyyu dalala when it becomes مخصوص. Yes? Okay, let's stop here, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.